can't just lump things into two categories. Things aren't that simple.
The political spectrum
is divided that way.
Hello and welcome to Benevolent Dictations. I am Benedict, the benevolent dictator. The political spectrum is the easiest way to differentiate between parties, people, and policies. All of the things you want to compare are placed on a line, starting in the middle and then spreading out in both directions. Anything on the left of the spectrum is referred to as left wing. Anything on the right of the spectrum is referred to as right wing. These terms come from 18th century French Parliament, where those in favour of the revolution would sit on the left-hand side of the president, and those in favour of the monarchy would sit on the right. As you move further along the spectrum, either to the right or left, you reach different levels of intensity. From the middle outward, there are moderate, radical, and extreme. The very middle of the spectrum is also referred to as the center, which is why you also have the term centrist for those that cross over the middle and do not fall completely on the left or the right of the spectrum. Some examples of moderates and centrists will now follow. The Democrats in the US and Labour in the UK are moderately left-wing. The Republicans in the US and Conservatives in the UK are moderately right-wing. The Liberal Democrats in the UK are centrists because their policies fall between those of Labour and the Conservatives. Neoliberalism is centrist because it supports moderately left-wing social policy and moderately right-wing economic policy.
Abortions for all. Very well. No abortions for anyone. Abortions for some, miniature American flags for others.
As you can see from these examples, the ideas they represent tend to be the generally accepted norm or current status quo within politics. Next, we will look at radicals and extremists. Radical ideas are not attempted very often, but are not unreasonable to a lot of people. Extreme ideas are rarely attempted and are unreasonable to most people. Consider the following. Universal basic income is radically left-wing. Many pilot tests have been done, but nowhere currently has it. No income tax is radically right-wing, usually balanced through higher rates or wider use of VAT and other taxes. The legalization of drugs is radically left-wing, successfully achieved in several countries for weed, where it is now taxed and regulated. No or limited separation of church and state is radically right-wing. For example, Christian democratic parties, Vladimir Putin, Islamic countries, and Vatican City. As stated previously, these radical positions may be accepted by a large portion of any population, but not enough to make them law in many countries. That said, they often inform less intense policies like minimum wage or gay rights within the moderate left, and economic deregulation or immigration limits in the moderate right. Moving on. The following examples are of extreme positions: communism or anarchism for the far left, and fascism or libertarianism for the far right. These ideas are only held by a minority, as destroying capitalism or the state and killing those you think are inferior, or allowing people to buy, sell anything, anyone, anytime, anywhere, are all too extreme for most people to take seriously.
Are we the baddies?
The political spectrum is a simple tool for quickly working out where something might sit on the left or right wing and how far along. Unfortunately, it can cause problems when you start looking deeper into ideas, as it cannot tell the difference between economic or cultural factors and whether something is authoritarian or democratic. A prime example is National Bolshevism, which takes communist economic policy from the far left and fascist cultural policy from the far right, but cancels out into a centrist position on a single line rather than being an extreme. There are two main alternative systems of measurement that do a better job at representing political positions than the political spectrum. These are the political compass and the 8 values, but we will look at them in the future. That's it for this video. Until the next one, thank you for your time. Goodbye.